Yup.
Boom, go. Man, hurry up. I'm all right, Pat. I can't see Pat. He's shaking his head right now. Oh, good. Yeah, we'll see. Yo, what's up, everybody? You listening to the Instant Grits podcast. My name is Devin Adams, CEO, and I'm determined to inspire. We're here with Star Lord. Welcome back, man. I know it's been a while. You popped on the last joint the other day. And we are also here with Big Tree. And I think Big Tree's he's usually a positive.
You're not going to come out the gates like that, right at me like that. Don't do that.
I'm just saying, you're usually a positive Big Tree.
I'm always positive.
You're just like a little bit of a negative downy Big Tree today. You need to be watered. Do we need to get some water? David, you have a special hydrogenized a pH balance like solution you can pour with Big Tree so you can feel better? You're a tree.
I don't see what you're seeing, Devin. I don't see what you're seeing.
That's okay. A lot of people don't. I'm just saying, let's just pour some water on Big Tree so he can feel better, right? Let's give him some new soil.
Big Tree is fine.
No, he's not. Y'all can't see his face right now. I'm going to make sure I'm going to post this one at least tomorrow so y'all can at least see Big Tree's face. Because if y'all go back to the other ones, Big Tree has a lot on his mind right now. You know what I mean? We out here grinding, got COVID in the way. He researches for like 47 hours a day, and then he like brushes his teeth for 3 seconds, and then he goes back to work. You know what I mean? That's why he's losing all his weight wearing my shirts. That's my shirt, by the way.
No, this is actually not. You would probably swim in this. So,
but you see what I mean? Like, why are you talking to me like that? Usually, you just laugh it off. This is how I know Big Tree's in the bad mood.
No, I never. That's not usual. I'm always gonna come back at you.
No, you can just fry you and just shut up real quick. You know what I mean? So you're talking back today. So you feel
right. So that's normal.
I'm glad David's here. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great, Devin.
Retard, man.
That's good. See, why are you calling me names?
I always do that.
David, all I'm saying is he's never done that before. You usually don't call me names, but this has been it's been a long week, and I'm not going to project my week onto Patton like he's doing to me right now. I'm actually just going to speak for myself. I'm not going to put that on none of y'all. I'm just going to say today has been. I'm sorry. What did you say? You're rudely cutting me off again. I'm sorry.
Who are you talking to?
See, exactly. See what I mean, Dave? You can tell something's not there. Look at his eyes.
What are you talking about?
There's no light there. That's what I'm saying, bro.
No, it's because I don't have my blue light glasses that you promised me like 3 months ago.
Listen, if that's going to make Big Tree feel a little bit better, that will be your representation of me giving you some water in the plate.
Okay. All right.
Okay? I'll take care of you, man. I'm going to put you some sun.
I appreciate it, bro. Man.
That's all good. So like I said, we're still celebrating now. This may be our last episode for our little anniversary thing before we go into next week, where we start to get into the nitty gritty if Patton feels up to it. Because, Patton going through some stuff. But to my point, because usually he says to your point, but I'll speak for him. This is the anniversary series. This is the last one. Last joint we talked about, though, we were talking about the love languages. We were talking about the male and female brain. Then we started getting into that whole quote, which was the appropriate feminine energy. And I think that's key. We appreciate the feminine energy when we realize women give us the necessary adversity to become more disciplined as a man. That was the quote that we was dissecting. That was pretty heavy. We got that from Bro Polite. That's on Instagram, Facebook, all that type of stuff. He shares some things that we don't necessarily believe in, but he also is just trying to enlighten some people as well, regardless. Yeah. We have David with us right here. David jumped on the joint, like the last 10 minutes. He came in dancing, eating pizza. And real quick, David, so you already know the love languages, right? We got the words of affirmation, act of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch, okay? Patrick said his first ones, if he had to rank them, would be physical touch and acts of service, okay? My primary one was physical touch and words of affirmation, for me personally. What would be your primary one? So it's 5 of them. What do you think your primary ones would be? I know I'm putting you
on. Do me a favor and run down all 5 of them again.
I was going to do that anyway, Dave. I got you, man. Yep. It's all good. You all right, Big Tree? Are you okay if I can go through these with him really quickly? He wasn't here yesterday. Thank you. Anyway, 5 love languages. We have
man.
words of affirmation. Excuse me. We have David. We have words of affirmation. We have acts of service. We have receiving gifts.
Oh man.
We have quality time.
Try to make me go off on it.
And we have physical touch, David. Okay. So words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. What would be your 2 primary or your 2 dominant ones?
All right, so you're asking what ones I like to do or what ones I like to receive? Or are they the same?
You receive.
Yeah.
That makes you actually feel like your love tank is being filled up. And we'll go on after this, but that's the whole key. Because David, if your love tank is filled up, that means that you can take care of your spouse to make sure her love tank is filled up by what she may needs. It's not you forcing your love language on her.
Right.
And it's not her doing it to you, but you're so filled up, you already know you need to take care of her according to her, what she needs.
It's probably going to be words of affirmation.
Uh-huh.
That's definitely, you said top 2, right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we did too.
So words of affirmation and probably,
Yeah, I mean.
That's from there.
Yeah.
Probably quality time.
Okay, so yours is words of affirmation, distills, and quality time. And it's okay, because I know I just put you on the spot, but some of them kind of like tie up. Like I have like a cluster. Yeah. Like the last 3 are just kind of like all similar. 2 are similar.
Yeah.
I have 1 I just don't even really care about. But
right.
Did you want to elaborate on that real quick? Give me a little breakdown of why you think that.
Well, it's hard. I mean, they're all important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing, but you can't choose them all. So
but you can rank them. Though. Did you want to rank them real quick?
It's probably going to be words of affirmation. I mean, and I have a lot of thoughts, but words of affirmation simply because communication is and always has been incredibly important for me.
Okay.
And so if a person can, I don't know, like bother to go my speed for a little bit and get into some conversation and talk about some things, and just that's what excites me. That's what actually gets me. I have energy for talking forever. You know what I mean? Like that's my place to be. So if I can have a good conversation with somebody, that's pretty much the number one thing. And so if you throw into that, like, you know, would you say words of affirmation?
Yeah, words of affirmation.
That's it, because I'm very what's the word? Impressionable. You know how they say like children are impressionable? I still like things get to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like words do get to me, and I've had to do a lot of work to be careful about like when people say things like harmful things and everything, just be like, okay, I'm actually, you know, I'm still very much like that. So
it kind of makes sense. I never thought about it, but you're like a songwriter and singer and like a wordsmith. So I guess you do have a relationship with words.
It's absolutely words, and then quality time, because you know that word quality is so that changes for, you know, different people think of different things when they think of quality.
Sure.
So it just, you know, I think those 2 are probably the top ones. Okay. I mean, to me, quality time is not just time spent together.
Elaborate.
It's like, you know, it's like thoughtful time, you know, like, hey, let's do this and let's coordinate this so that the 2 of us can, you know, it might sound really dorky, but it's like, let's go to a restaurant. Let's talk about our budget. Let's talk about what we'd like to do for the next 5 years. You know, just kind of dream and think ahead. And then let's come back and watch a movie because we got a babysitter for the kids. That's quality. You know what I mean? We fed ourselves. We talked about the future. We aligned our dreams and our you know, all of that. And we spoke into the future, and then we relaxed together. You know,
that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Patton, did you want to say anything real quick before we move on to the next thing? I just want to make sure you're doing okay.
Yeah. No, that quality time is is a beast. Like I said, I was waiting for you to post it last night, but you know.
My bad.
I'm
gonna post it right after this though, for real. I got it.
Yeah. And quality to me, when I hear quality, it's just like being present in the moment. Like, you know, some people time spent doesn't necessarily mean quality. Like you can be in the same room, I can be in my phone, you can be in yours. That's not quality time. That's just time spent in physical proximity to one another. Like that's, you know, so
I like that.
Defining quality is really important because, like Dave said, and the crazy part is even within a relationship, quality may mean something different to man, woman, you know, whoever's in the relationship. So you got to clearly define that. But yeah, that's why that one is probably like the third for me, I think.
Okay. That's good. Like I said, I like that saying. I've always said quality time. Like, but now I like the word present because that's just something that we've been trying to do. I think that was one of our accountability challenges. The little foreshadowing later, I think it was just like, yo, no cell phones for the first 15 minutes or no.
Right. Yeah, that was one.
Yeah, be present of where you are. If when I was going on little dates and stuff, I would make it a point to take my phone and flip it over. And then you became a lot more aware of what's going on around you. But then you also became more hypersensitive to your partner that you're with when they are not as present as you are because they're on it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it kind of just like elevated all your senses as soon as you realize presence and being present could actually replace that quality time thing. Dave, did you want to jump in real quick before we make moves?
This is great. Yeah.
Patton, see what I mean? Patton's a deep thinker, man. That's good. Thank you, man. I'm serious. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing better. See what I mean? He's contributing, like he's smiling now. Oh, big tree. It's gonna be all right, bro.
Boy, I tell you.
No, it's gonna be okay. It's okay. Don't raise your voice at me. It's gonna be all right. So, like I said, these things like this he's gonna be okay. Look at him.
Not even.
He's gonna be all right, bro. It's gonna be okay.
Business on this and stuff. Go ahead.
Listen, nah. But we was also talking about after this, David. Like I said, we rolling through it. We was talking about how these love languages actually just helps you in relationships with anybody from any age. And Dave, even in your class, you know people that just want quality time. They don't even need to say anything, but they might just want to be in your presence. You know, people about physical contact, they just might want to lean on you, or they may come and give you a little hug. And you also know people that just want you to give them positive words of affirmation. They might not say nothing, but if you say, hey, I really like how you actually read through this completely, and they just kind of smirk to themselves. All these love languages I found personally for me, I was able to implement from kindergarten all the way to high schoolers in the classroom, or even in the gym, or even when I was teaching music privately as a private instructor. Regardless, if you know how to use these and recognize them, I think they could be beneficial. What do you say to that, bro?
Me?
Yeah, man. I'll be big tree.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me think of a lot of different. It makes me wonder about the different ways. As you were saying that, I was like, oh, wow, how do people read me when they see me? You know what I mean? Like,
but I saw you do it with a kid real quick. Don't lose your thought. You did it with a kid. I was in your room. We was talking. A kid came in and said, hello, David. And then you heard her kind of. And then you said, wait a minute, I need to go back and say that to her. It's going to mean a lot. And you actually left the room. I never forgot that. And you said it. You know what I mean? Because that means that she did something in the past that you recognize. And you said, this is going to be valuable. These words are going to mean something. Going to carry a little bit more weight. You know what I mean? So you've done it before. But go ahead. What are you going to say about
right? That? No, and it's true. We don't think about it, but absolutely. I mean, I think that fits what I was saying. What I was thinking about is just whoever that, and I vaguely remember what you're talking about. But at that point, I had built a relationship with that person to the point where I knew that she would appreciate me going back and saying whatever I said. Yeah. And I wasn't thinking, I probably wasn't thinking quality time or words of affirmation or something, but I just knew. And it makes me wonder about. I know what I think mine are, but the people in my life, would they agree? That's all.
That's hard, though. That's a good question.
I might think I'm one way, and they'll be like, "No, David, actually, this is who you are."
Yeah.
I definitely have.
With my mom, I had that talk with my mother, and she was like, "Really?" I'm like, yeah." And I was like, she's like, "You physical touch first?" I'm like, "Yeah, ma, I am." She's like, "I never knew that," and this is my mother because my mother's never given me really that many hugs, but she's a person of service, and she's a give gifts type of person, but she's not a big physical touch person. She is now because, our relationship has changed, but she's like, I was super surprised. I'm like, yeah, man, like me and my dad hug all the time. Like Like I just don't do that with you because that's not how we grew up. But that was so. Go ahead, Dave. To your point. Go. My bad.
No, exactly. That's exactly right. It's like people. So some people might not realize what your needs are, but the other thing is that I've noticed that sometimes the people in my circle know certain things about me a little better than I do. So that's the other thing it just gets me thinking about is, what am I missing? Because we all have blind spots.
Okay. No, you're right. That's interesting. Like I said, even though I mess with Big Tree, Patton, there's been plenty of times when I've been going crazy. And Patton's like, this ain't what you need right here. You need to do this instead. Or Devin, look, I already know you. So he just laughed at me. He's like, yo, you need to be talking to this type of youngin'. I don't know about you need to be talking to, I don't judge, but maybe this youngin'. He would say, this is the young you should be talking to. And until then you know what I mean? Like he sees gaps, and people see gaps when they're aware and they care and they're present. Ooh, present again, Patton. You know what I mean? Look at Big Tree just gravitating all of this attention right now. But I also call it the Jupiter effect, Patton, because you're the biggest guy in the room, so you attract the most attention. You like that one? Gravitational pull, Jupiter effect?
Yeah, you say that a lot. I still don't see it, but I got you.
It's okay, bro. It's not for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So we talked about all of that. Look at Dave. What's wrong, bro?
Nothing.
I'm just messing with him, man. I'm just messing with him.
I know.
If you was having a bad day, I'll be messing with you.
Notice how I talk a lot, but when you want me to get in between you and Patton, I give you 2-syllable answers. Nothing. I know. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, good, man. Like I said, if I want to get in your buttons, all we do is we just got to talk trash to David. Because he's competitive, remember? Your words were competitive. Patton's words was loyal. You're competitive. So I know right now, if I just want to do something, I'm just like, hey, then you're like, oh, damn, what you think? Because you younger than me? I'm like, nah, Dave, I never said that. So like I said, man, like it's just funny pushing buttons. How would y'all push mine? So really quickly, how would y'all piss me off? You think?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, it's easy?
Dave, I'll let you go first. Hey, it's too easy.
I would not attempt to do that.
But piss me off
I have a theory.
In a good way.
In a heartbeat.
In a good way.
For you two, and it works. I think for you two, it works. Like that back and forth between you two is very healthy. There's a lot of laughter. Well, maybe it's not super healthy, but
no, it is. It is. You know what? Because you have to have somebody that you can be 100% yourself with, and
right.
In some ways, even though we're like super different in height, like our tenacity is pretty much the same. So me going at him, I know he's going to come at me. And sometimes I need that. And he knows when he come at me, I may not even do it at that particular moment, but he knows I'm coming for it, like without a shadow of a doubt. So,
right.
For me, that goes back to that whole scripture, not to get deep, but iron sharpens iron.
Okay.
So that's how you describe that whole thing. Now, what I would do to piss you off is tell you that you couldn't do something. Like, nah, man, don't worry about that. That's not something you could do. It'd be like,
oh shit! Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah, I know. Yo, David, go right to you.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that go right to you. Yeah, that's it. That's what I would do in a heartbeat. Like, nah, bro, you can't. Don't leave that alone. That's not something you can do.
But you have it right. I think between the three of us, I think we can all be authentically ourselves. And David, that's something we actually talked about yesterday. The importance of when a man can be authentic, he will attract the right woman that can provide the adversity for him to become more disciplined.
Right.
You get that? So it's just kind of like, it took me a while to get it. So I'm not trying to slight anybody's, thought process. It just took me a while to think. When a man is authentic, we already know that he might be a deep intellectual person. He might be about his bread and his money. He might be about his God. He might be all of those three.
Yeah.
And I'm just summing this all up for you, Dave. But regardless, he's going to be those three because he knows God is first. A woman's not going to distract him from that. He knows his bread is first, or his knowledge is first. But he might be a collection of all three, meaning him being all three of these things. If he accepts a woman to participate in that, first of all, that means that she's a special woman, right? Because he already knows these are my first three things. So if I'm talking to this youngin' must be a real one because I'm bringing her in. I'm accepting her into this lifestyle of mine of whatever I'm in reverence towards. And she has to understand that. But as men, this is only for men, The strongest man is can be tempted by the beauty and the godly presence of a woman. And that's when the challenge begins, because she understands that you have a relationship with God. She understands that you're a knowledgeable, deep thinker. She understands you about your bread, but what do women usually want more of? Time with us. So with them putting that stressor of sometimes putting time on us, that's when the battle begins. That's when that adversity. Hey, can you come over here and do this? Oh, can you stop doing that real quick? Or they make, hey, boo.
Yeah, they call it attention, but it's it breaks down the time. Yeah.
So like I said, I'm summing up a lot. And if y'all don't remember, somebody just go back to the next episode. Shout out to the person in Argentina again who downloaded this again. We have somebody that's keep listening to us in Argentina, so we just giving them shout outs. Big shout out to you, man. Whoever you are. Thank you. But that's all. So David, real quick, I'm gonna let you elaborate because I want to get your thought process. I'm gonna read to you the quote one more time. The appropriate, or not appropriate, I was using that word, but I'm gonna say it correctly. We appreciate the feminine energy when we realize women give us the necessary adversity to become more disciplined as a man.
Mm-hmm.
The three versions of men were preacher, godly, God first, gangster, we're using the term money first, and teacher, a knowledgeable being. I actually think we kind of encapsulate all three of those. So what is your stance with that, saying that a woman provides adversity? Because that's kind of sensitive to say, but it's also kind of relevant because the woman's adversity is going to make a man more disciplined. It's kind of deep. I know we haven't had a lot of prep time for this.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
You're talking to me, I'm imagine, because you all had this talk yesterday, right?
Yeah, I'm not talking about it anymore.
I'm just, okay. Wow. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's, man, yeah, I think I can feel myself trying to be careful about how I answer it. Let me just go for
finding a male's perspective. Like I said, we'll call a few women into this already. I already talked to two that are willing to do it. But from a male, I don't care how beautiful you are. I'm an authentic man.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's something that can be cherished and relished to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
So I'll take it even from.
You frozen, so I don't think you.
Like I remember just. Hello.
Yeah, you back.
You So I'll go behind the word man and say male, like even just growing up, right? Like as soon as, you start going through the change, you know what I mean? You would feel, it would be you would feel agitated and troubled by just the thought of the opposite sex. Just as they entered your awareness, there was some kind of, some kind of, like a stirring, something that wasn't okay. It just wasn't okay. You could no longer rest the way that your whole life you could rest, and now it's like, man, it's like a thing. So before you can even put words to it, I think they provide a certain adversity for sure.
Ooh. And
then from there, once
that's heavy. That's true.
Once you start, mixing it up and everything and communicating, absolutely, because there's this. I think there's this battle, and if I'm being honest, I think a lot of, and I don't think every man is like this though. I think a lot of men want. How can I put this? I think a lot of men deep down.
It's podcast. You said
they really want their deepest needs to be met in the world, right? They don't.
Yeah, Dave.
Of course. They don't want.
Yeah.
What?
That's
Sorry.
awesome. Like I said, that's awesome. Why are you acting like that's some?
Because I was gonna say it differently.
You are a wordsmith. Continue.
So because of that, that's a constant struggle in the first place, right? As soon as you link up with somebody else, now you're negotiating, you're figuring out different things. It's not all about what you want all the time. It's a mix. And there are certain sacrifices that you're going to make where, I mean, truly, when they talk about being, what's the word? Oh, shoot, I can't think of the word. Domesticized or domesticated, right? there are certain things that I never thought about at all. I didn't even that I had to learn in my relationships, and then obviously with Melissa, there was a lot that I had to learn willingly to be able to make it work with her. That if we, that I don't personally, I had no reason to go into those things at all. No reason to care about them at all for me.
Yeah.
But in our relationship, that was the reason that I had to care about them. So in a way, I was joking with somebody, but I forget who took this guy who told me, he was talking about the rate at which men mature. Yeah, and I think that there's a part of that maturity is being able to find that balance, because you see some guys who are like just selfish, right? They're just selfish. They don't care. Like they're just not. It's not a good look. It's bad. I always feel sorry for the people who are with them.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you have some guys who are just complete pushovers, and they don't have a spine, and they're just not. I don't know what they are, and they lost something, and they're never. It's a shame. I think a mature man is someone who finds that balance and knows how to serve his partner, serve his wife, serve his girl, whatever the relationship is.
You're saying serve.
How to serve. He knows how to serve that person, but also knows how to say, "This is what I bring to this."
Okay.
Wow. This is what I bring. So I'm never gonna. I will not move an inch on this. See. But everything else, I'll give you everything else.
Okay, that's
maturity, in my opinion.
What you gonna say, Big Tree?
No, I'm gonna hold it because I know we got female listeners, so that's that.
Well, the thing is, we can have female listeners, but we're giving them an inside knowledge of different men because I'm gonna provide a single mindset. I am single. So some of my shit might sound more radical than some of the things that we may present right now. But regardless, it's information. If they don't want to listen, that's a narrow-mindedness on their part. Because I know if they had a podcast that I was supporting, I would listen to theirs.
I'm saying that for this reason. This one always starts arguments, and I do this on purpose, like to my wife and her friends to make them angry because I know it's gonna make them angry when I say this. But I believe it to be true.
Okay.
And to Dave's point, I personally believe most men, and I'll say probably a good 90 to 95% of them, start off good with good intentions.
Okay.
Somewhere along the way, in that time that you're talking about, Dave, where things become weird, something happens where either we get our feelings hurt or the girl that we like doesn't like us, or she didn't circle yes on the paper, she circled no, or she laughed at us when we tried to impress her, whatever.
Yeah.
From that day on, something clicks, something resonates that translates to the rest of life.
Why would you be weird to say that out loud?
No, it's not weird, but I swear, every time I've said it, women are always, so what you trying to say? Men y'all not born dogs? No, we're not. No, we're not.
We're born
our first relationship with the female is with our mothers. So
yeah, and even if you want to get
the nurturing relationship, like, you know what I'm saying? So
we're born into sin. We already know that. We can go breaking down.
Yeah, we can go super deep, but
we're not going to.
No. But that's my personal belief because if you go back to that time, it's like that feeling. You can still feel that feeling at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whenever you got it, you still feel that as an adult today. Like, oh no. That's not going to happen. That carries throughout.
It builds insecurities.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, what you just said, Pat, was extremely vulnerable, and it should let these people that are listening realize, whoa, hold up. Maybe I should.
No, but I believe that about all men, not just. I don't.
If you don't think an insecurity can trigger some type of new insecurity, if you don't think if you've been hurt in the past, and that's not going to influence how you are in the present or the future. It can't do that.
No, yeah,
that's in your mind to get out of it. But come on, that makes.
I'm basically saying is all females' fault that guys are dogs, though. That's what I'm saying. See, that's the part that starts the argument. That's the part. What? What are you?
Go to Dave. Dave, what's your retort to that, Dave?
So
it's females' fault that guys are dogs, or it's not females' fault that guys are mentally kind of off.
It's not a retort. First thing I want to say is. men are not as good at hiding things.
No.
So that's important to bring into this situation. And I'm not saying that's not to say that because I know we're talking about men and women. I know we're doing this. So I want to be clear. I am not saying that because men aren't as good at hiding things, that means that women by nature have a nature of hiding things or being deceptive. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if I tell you a story about past relationships, I'm probably going to name first names and I might end up naming last names. If you ask somebody else, they'll tell you him. They'll say he. You won't get any names. It's just a completely different situation. Mm-hmm. There's, you want to talk about compartmentalization. When we are talking about relationships and being able to survive difficult, adverse things, men are behind. They're not. We're behind, which is why the first time that you get burnt, the first time that you get your feelings actually hurt as a guy, there's a panic there because you realize it hits you that you were never on the same playing field. It hits you. Then you realize that you go, oh my.
So you're saying
stupid. What did I do?
So it's the most fragile thing in the world.
Right. It occurs to you that you never saw it fully. And then in that moment that Tim is talking about, you rearrange everything and you say, "Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Got to put that up. Got to protect it."
Yeah. Right. I didn't. Okay. Next thing I go into, I have to realize that she has what's it called when panoramic vision, and I'm just looking through these two eyes. Mm-hmm. So I have to protect myself because she sees everything.
Nah. Okay.
That's the sensation that I remember the first time I got my feelings hurt.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I think, Patton, you could probably be like 50% correct. Like if it was like a pie chart, I would say it's 50. That's all. Because, we can talk about the things we've witnessed growing up. I'm going to a deeper level. Like how we see our mother and our father interact, how we see the people in our neighborhood interact with other people, the things we hear in our neighborhood, the music that we listen to. Sure. I'm going to say all that goes into the pie chart. I will say, though, based off of romantic relationships, or you being romantically interested in somebody else, I do think what you said has a lot of validity to it. I'm not going to dispute that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dispute that.
I mean, there's really no way to, because it's just true.
Patton is speaking the absolute truth. Okay? It's no question. But no, you're right, though, because like as soon as a dude gets hurt by a woman, it does present a stain that takes some time to remove, and it takes training to do that. But I can also speak for the woman. As soon as she's been hurt by a man, that's why they perceive us certain ways too and have preconceived notions as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, but no, I mean I get you. That makes sense. Go ahead, Dave. My bad.
No, it's this is a big subject, and
this is a huge subject. You're right. We could talk about this for hours, Dave. Go ahead.
I mean, the truth is, going back to what you were saying, though, providing the adversity to, how do you end that? Adversity to what?
I said a woman provides the necessary adversity.
Yeah.
To become more disciplined as a man, because I'm obsessed with the word discipline.
Absolutely. So, and I'll just be honest, I know everybody's a little bit different. I have some real jealousy in me. Growing up, I just ended up being that way. I don't really understand how that happened, but it's true. And I try, I know that that's not good. I know that that's something that can tear you apart from the inside. Interestingly,
I did as well. Go ahead.
I went down a certain road, after the first time I got hurt, and I was kind of just, living my life. And when I would get into relationships, I was not thinking that this could be the one or anything like that. I was just experiencing. Okay. And when I met Melissa, I liked what I saw so much. I was so fascinated with this person that I had some decisions to make. Because, and life, I'm telling you, life was easy when I was just like, you know what, this isn't a real relationship, whatever, let's just do this and, whatever. But so what Melissa presented for me was a need to maybe stop all of that and just
be
committed, and maybe
that's it.
Like one day have a family with her, and like that's the one. She's the one, and that was not an easy thing to face.
That's crazy
at all, and it required me to make some real difficult decisions in the moment. But then like when I was, so we were together in Ithaca, and I was a year ahead of her, and I can remember the moment I decided that I wanted to marry her, because I wasn't sure, right? Like I was like, what do I mean, okay, we're gonna graduate, like I'm gonna maybe this is over, maybe it isn't. And I was walking up this flight of stairs, and I remember when I hit the stair where I was like, I'm gonna try to make this work. I'm gonna see if she's interested in making this relationship work. And that was, so I guess what I'm saying is, as soon as you make that first choice, then you are making a series of decisions, I think, for the rest of your life that have to do with dedicating yourself to a person and what that means. And even, in stormy weather, when things are not going well and all that, like you're still sitting there going, no, you know what? Like I love this person, and I promised this person something, and this person made a promise to me. I'm going to honor that. I'm going to honor this. So that's the whole maturity. I think that there isn't much. I mean, there are probably a few other things, but I think being in an actual dedicated relationship where you're honest with the person and the person's honest with you, probably one of the most mature things that you do, because you're always getting beat up. Like there's always a new thing around the corner.
I don't even know if you realize what you just said. Only reason I'm saying that, I know you know what you said, but before I was on here, my bishop was talking. He's like one of us, you know what I mean? Just a deep intellectual guy, super smart. But I never thought about these two things. And he said, as a single man, and I think this can be applied to a single person, but it can also just be applied in general to help you figure some stuff out. And you kind of just said it. That's why I was like, whoa. He said for a woman to realize the man that she needs, who matches your relationship with what you believe in? Number one. And these are two different things. So for a woman, what does a woman need if she's a believer in God, if she has a belief system in something? The only thing she ever needs to do is think about who matches her relationship with her beliefs. So that's what he said, number one. I was thinking about that, like who? But then as he said, as a single man, and this is where I was thinking about it, he said, does she sound like the same voice that carried you when you were single? Does she sound like the God that was helping you get through your single times? And I was thinking about that. I was like, damn.
That's tough.
It's kind of tough because it's like, okay, it's you would think it'll be the opposite. First of all, I'm trying to break this down now. You would think it'll be the opposite for a woman based off of what we said with their brains, that we say they're all interconnected, like zip, 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 everything. That's why they don't forget anything and everything's interconnected. But it seems like it's a little bit more all over the place for the male than for the woman. It seems like for right now, it says a woman to attract the man that she needs just needs to think about her relationship with God, bro. That's all she needs to do. It sounds like for a man, a single man.
That makes sense.
Does she sound like God when you were single? Like, does she sound like the same voice that carried me when I was single? When I hear that out loud, I'm like, ooh. So like I said, there's levels to this, and that's kind of a deep thing, but I don't know. What do y'all think about that saying? Like, I'm gonna break that down later.
No, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, and it still goes in line with what we were saying about the woman's brain being all over the place. But you're talking about a different ball game here. You're talking about emotion. Absolutely. That ain't our lane. For them, it's easy because that's how they're wired. So it would be easier for them to draw that connection. For us, it's like, oh God, I don't really want to. And that's where that fight comes in at, and that's where that. Oh man. Yeah, you got to really think.
You got to respect that voice. That's why you might want something, but that might not be the voice you hearing for real. You might just want her to be something, but the voice might be saying, "This is what you need."
Right.
You know, it gets a little.
Oh yeah, it gets dicey. It gets dicey.
It gets a little different. What you doing, Dave? Processing?
Oh yeah, I'm doing a lot of thinking right now.
I know, man. You're a thinking man, as you should be.
Yeah.
Pat, as you should be. I'm a thinking man too. But nah, so that's what I said. Just thinking about the single life as a leader, though. And then I was just thinking about that too. He was going in. The single life as a leader is different versus versus a married leader as well. So like I said, he was just going in. I need to probably hit him up a little bit more. But I did make sure I put an asterisk by that because it just kind of clarifies some things. Because now, what's that voice when you were single? That's the thing that's telling you everything you need to do because you're single for a reason. You have insecurities that you need to figure out. Maybe you don't even need to be in a relationship until you're exercising some type of self-love and awareness, making yourself whole, not being in a relationship to fill the voids of your shot up spirit based off of the things you've gone through with other relationships. You got to heal that stuff up first. But what's that voice while you're single? That's the type of woman that you should probably be with. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, that's kind of tough. So I'm going to think about it some more.
And
Kevin, 20 minutes ago.
I want to say something else about this too, right? Like I agree with everything you just said. And also,
you don't have to, you know that. I'm just.
No, I do. But I also want to say that you owe it to yourself to do everything that you just said. And some of the reason why you might not be in a consistent relationship is because there's an inner wisdom that's keeping you from it. Like, how can I put it? The work's going to get done no matter what. Mm-hmm. But whether you're in or out of the relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I met Melissa when Melissa was, 19 and I was 21. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's different now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like life has changed and there's been a lot of work and there will be a lot more work. So I would say that in a way, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that of some of the disadvantages of being single and all of this. But in another way, you have an advantage because when you enter the relationship, you're going to be more of a grown man than I certainly was when I entered the relationship. I think about that 21-year-old. I was like, okay, I was a man, but not really.
Yeah, you ain't really it.
Yeah, like.
I mean, when I was engaged, Dave, I wasn't a man then. I thought I was.
Right.
I was on my way to, even though I was in my mid to late 20s. I'm a totally different person now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I hear you. I mean, it makes
Still
sense.
a young boy, but yeah.
I was a young boy. And
no, I'm saying you're still a young boy. Shit.
I am. I guess I'm a young boy. But to your point, Dave, though, no, you're right. Like you said, like I'm a lot more, I would just say, experienced and seasoned with self-awareness.
Yeah.
And self-love to that degree, like, and being comfortable with myself and making myself whole first before I present myself to somebody else. I'm not using that as a barrier. But what I am saying is all three of us know there's a difference between chasing. You can't chase two rabbits.
No dice.
And shit. Attracting the people you need to be with, and the P word, pursuit. I think once you can say, all right, I'm not going to chase, now you can focus on yourself and where I need to be putting my energies to because I see it coming this way as well. And that's when that pursuit can happen. And then if you're listening to that single voice saying, this is what you should be doing when you're single, when God's giving you that voice, that woman will show up, and vice versa. When that voice matches your relationship with God as a female or whatever you believe in, you won't get it. If you're going to get it. Now, it might not be what you want. Like it's between wants and needs. Like she might say some real shit sometime. I'm like, damn, that shit hurt. But I needed that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ain't what I wanted at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The spirit is fickle until you figure yourself out first. I'm like, all right, thank you. That sucked, but thank you. Go ahead, Dave. What you want to say real quick, bro? Because I didn't expect us to go down this lane and talk about this. I thought we was going to talk about accountability challenge. But like I said, apparently, this is opening up some other things from the male perspective. Mm-hmm. And it's just a topic that I don't think can ever be non-existent. It can never be over because as we get older, we change. As we go through life, we change. As we are married with a partner, we change. Kids, we change. Priorities shift. We forget to make time for each other. We forget how hard it is to communicate transparently with our spouses and all that type of stuff. A lot of things shift. You know what I mean? So, like I said, this topic right here is just like, we can legitimately have a
TED Talk. A 3-hour TED Talk.
We could do this every week. We just have a segment where we came to this. You know what I mean? But go with Dave. Yeah. They got the pray hands. That was one of my.
No, because I'm just thinking about, like, there's so much work to be done. I keep thinking about work, and I was thinking about
You talking about work, or like relationship work? You talking about work?
It's all the same. It's all the same. Like, honestly, as I'm seeing more life, there's not a lot of difference between, because here's what it is. It's some kind of a math problem where you have a certain amount of waking hours in the day. You have a certain amount of energy, a certain amount of patience, and a certain amount, and then a certain amount of responsibilities, right? Things that you must do no matter what. And those can change. So, as I think about, the three of us sitting here, and I think about, I know that I definitely know you, Devin, and I'm getting to know you, Tim, to the point where I know where we're looking. And I know that what I was thinking of a few things. One is, some work you can do with your partner, and some work you have to do alone. You can't
100%, bro.
And it's actually better that way. It wouldn't be good to do all of the work together. And because you can't you can share a vision, but I think what it is there's the two individuals, and then there's the coming together, and there's that other thing. I don't think they all can be the same, because like you didn't marry yourself.
Right, exactly.
You didn't, you know what I'm saying? So the thing is, you have to find that, you have to figure out how to do it, but then you have to keep making agreements about how that's going to work and what that's going to look like, because as you move through life and you change, and as she moves through life and she changes, it's not going to be the same as it was when you first got together. So you have to have that open communication. And then, but then what I was really thinking about was, there's a word, I don't know what the word, it's like privilege or something. Essentially, if you can get listen, I want a lot because I want a lot. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a billionaire just to have a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's like I want more freedom in my day so that I can spend more time working on the things that would be good for everybody around me, not just, right? So like, if I can make myself, right, like, I don't know, I could turn myself into Superman and be a selfish Superman, right? Or I could turn myself into Superman and help everybody who I know and get and help their life be better as well. But it's like it's like this cycle of like work, and then learning from the work, failure or results, and then work. When you are in a relationship with somebody, that cycle cannot stop, right? It's going to change. It's going to look different. It might become a figure eight or whatever, and depending on what's going on in your life. But if it's pretty much like it's a dead relationship if that cycle stops, in my opinion. Not everyone's going to feel the same way, but if either, and I actually don't want to say if either person, but if there's a person in that relationship who is on that wheel of work and results and saying, okay, we can keep moving this thing forward. If that gets stopped indefinitely, and there's no agreement that it's going to start again, that relationship is over.
I agree, bro. And that goes into some of the love language stuff. That goes into a lot of deeper other stuff with just communication and working. I think for us, and what we were just talking about yesterday when we was closing, we said, with all the things that we've just shared, will your partner or spouse still encourage you to be authentically yourself? And I think once your spouse stops encouraging you to be authentic, like whatever you're called to do, that's where trouble can start to happen too. So like I said, we got to be authentic. And I think a lot of us aren't anymore, just based off of so many things with growing up, insecurities, things we witnessed, trauma, insecurities we try to put barriers around instead of knocking those barriers down or from around those insecurities, addressing them, spending time with them, and putting up walls around other things that are more important, like our character, like our, things like that. It's deep, bro. Like I said, we can talk about this for a while, and we ain't even talk about the accountability challenges, but I even think, and I can segue into this before we close, because we got about 5 minutes. The accountability challenges even started to help me become more self-aware and more awareness with things. Why? Because I wouldn't pick up my phone when I first woke up. I would hear it, and I said, no. Now I just wake up. I don't even look at the phone. I automatically start going through my brain and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just start the self-awareness. Which one's that, Tim?
Yeah.
Yo, Isaiah. Yo, Tim. All right, man. Get some rest, man. Go to sleep.
All right. No.
All right, bro. Which one's that? That's a quiet twin?
Oh, yeah.
Where's the other one at? Where's my young boy, Jaden? You running down the steps or not?
Right upstairs.
Okay. But like I said, basically all I'm saying is this. These routines have actually helped me become more aware, more conscious, and more fulfilling as a person. Yeah, we was having fun with our push-ups and stuff, and we was having fun with the water challenges. But now I might be just doing that just off the daily. I'm now trying to consume 3 peppers a day, drink 4 things of tea a day. David, tea. Trying to think 4 things of tea a day, making sure I do 3 gratitude walks because I'm already on that level of waking up and praying and meditating and writing my affirmation book and taking my cold and hot shower contrast and then drinking tea in the morning and then, you know, all that type of stuff. That ain't nothing no more. Me doing push-ups, you kidding me? I do like 50 a day all the time. Like, it just levels you up in so many areas. Me making sure I read a Bible verse every day, just one, bro, like, that's why we have to figure this out. And then it even leveled up to what? The blue zones, the people that live the longest. And this, David, this speaks to you, longevity. I'm not trying to be a marathon runner, so I don't train like them. But if they work out every hour or they're doing some type of movement in these blue zone areas and they eat clean and they spend time with their family and they don't mind drinking alcohol because it's a hormesis effect that gives them a better stress tolerance. Whatever doesn't kill you, make you stronger. If you can eat like that, work out constantly, if you wanted to sip on alcohol and reap those benefits, you can. Nobody said abuse it. If you want to be able to live longer with that whole longevity lifestyle, then I started thinking about that. I'm like, oh, I can just do like 40, 50 squats every couple of hours, every hour, because that's the blue zone lifestyle. And that's like me farming and stuff like that. If you spend time with your family, that keeps you younger. If you can still have a nice relationship with your spouse, that helps. All that, and then all that comes to that longevity piece. So like I said, so many levels. Now it's just like, okay, now what else? What's next? Because all those other things that we worked on last year, Patton, that ain't nothing no more, bro.
No, that's like,
that ain't nothing. I saw you take the cheese off your pizza, and I was like, Dak, he really did that. Because now he on his keto stuff. Like he big keto now. Big keto. That was one of his nicknames. But it was a time where you had to practice doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
So go ahead, Dave. We'll give y'all the last closing words, but like I said, the accountability challenges, and let's tie it up to this. Maybe y'all can think about it like this. How has the accountability aspect, because you and me have gone at it too, Dave, to a certain degree, maybe not as long, but we thought about accountability and how important it is. How has you been competitive, I guess, with me, and how has you been competitive with yourself and wanting to always be in that self-awareness state improved your lifestyle over this year, even though you've been on this show for maybe a few months? You know what I mean? And then Patton, you can tie that up and then we out.
Sure.
It's kind of deep though, but how has this accountability stuff made you better and more self-aware of yourself?
Well, let's see. Last summer, I watched my father almost die for 3 months straight. Some real health stuff for years. Doctors couldn't explain any of it. I became aware of the fact that, this isn't the first time I saw it, but I was pretty sure he was going to die. So when you're thinking about that for, it was 87 days in a row where he was on his way out. And then one day he just popped up and it was a miracle. But when you're thinking about that for that long and trying to make arrangements and everything, you think of a few things. You think of, do I have my money in order? Do I have my health in order? And not in this. So actually what you actually think of is my relationship right with my loved ones? Is my physical health in order? Is my money in order? Ooh. That's the way I thought about it. And it became, because none of that was right with him. Yeah. So then I was like, oh, okay, one day I'll be there in some way. Let me get this right. So that was, I'm always looking for things to push me, but that was a big one. It's interesting. I'm going to fast forward to right now. Stress. I've been thinking about stress for the past few. So stress has been so high, and I won't give details why, but what we're dealing with in my house with the way that our schedules are is it's a bit of a nightmare. And, you know, we talked about, like, I'm not even on Taste, but this is, I mean, I don't want to be eating, you know, I don't know, cauliflower all day, every day. Sure. Like, I'm not on Taste, but I need some other stuff too. And so it's been interesting. And what I was thinking about, you know, you sent me the information about how the coronavirus is attacking African Americans versus other groups. And so what you were talking about with accountability, it's not fair, but actually, you know, as 3 Black men here, we actually need to we have more of a responsibility to get that stuff right. Because actually, statistically, we're more at risk. If we don't manage our stress, if we don't manage our money, and if we don't get our relationships right, there's a better chance that things will go badly for us. Mm-hmm. There's a better, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean like, oh, well, you just manage it. It actually means that we have to actually be, like Devin keeps saying, we actually have to be social proof. We actually have to go far in the other direction. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and then, you know, as you know, Tim, you have kids. You don't want to just tell them. Yeah. You don't want to just tell them what they need to do and like somehow they'll figure it out because you tell them over and over again. You want to live that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to accountability and like this year, those are the things that I'm thinking of right now. And honestly, I'm in front of my children every day. And I would say I make at least one mistake every day. And the biggest mistake that I make is I don't manage my stress very well, right? I'm like a rubber band that's going to snap too often. So it's like, okay, I talk about breathing and calming down and, you know, using my calming tools. I want my kids to do it. I have to do it. Mm-hmm. I actually have to be more centered and more. And what harm would there be if I got better at that?
Yeah.
So, you know, as I walk away from here, I'm taking a lot of things away, but one of my challenges that I'm going to give to myself is to actually work on my stress. All right. Sorry.
You're good, man.
That's part of the accountability stuff. So maybe we'll figure something out. We can help you and support that because we all have different forms of it. External, oxidative. Doesn't like stress is not good. This is like the worst thing. Stress kills. So we'll work on it. What about you, Patton?
Yeah, I'm kind of the a little bit different. In that I manage my stress slightly different because I know my temper. Mm-hmm. I do the suppression thing. I just put that in the drawer, and it never really goes anywhere. Oof. It just keeps. It just keeps. It just keeps. I've gotten better with it over time. Mm-hmm. I've gotten better with it over time, but I realize now it takes a whole lot for me to get there. But I realize when I get there, I need to spend a lot of time in the nothing box because seriously, that nothing box is the best thing in the world to me because in there, I mean, even though it's a nothing box, you know, for me, that's time when I can talk to God because I know He knows me the best. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to be apologetic for how I feel about anything, for how I view anything. This is how I feel. This is how I'm thinking. Let me get myself in order. Let me manage my stress the best way I possibly can by simply doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. And then I can come back and say, you know what, that pissed me off, but I'm all right now. Cool. I was able to let it go. Before I was able to just be fine with going to the nothing box. It was, all right, one more thing. All right, one more thing. One more. And then that one more is like the volcano. And that's not, you know, of course, that's not good either. I had to learn that through some relationships and stuff like that. But like Dave was saying, especially when you got kids, and for me in particular, young men that I'm raising to, you know, and I have the responsibility to make sure I model how they're supposed to be. That's not something that I want them to go through. because I know all of the stuff I had to go through. So that's, you know, my accountability challenge is to continue, I'll say, being okay with visiting the nothing box and not apologizing for it.
Okay.
Because like we said yesterday, I'm not going to say you'll find out, because hopefully when you get married, it's all blissful and peachy keen and roses.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be perfect.
Yeah. But you sometimes, like we said yesterday, you sometimes feel like, you know, there's an adversity that presents itself when you're in the nothing box, because women can't understand what you're doing and they feel like they need to be a part of that process. And it's like, listen, if I tell you what's really on my head, you're going to take it really bad. I really want to say to you right now, hey, I love you more than life itself, but get the hell away from me, because I need to sit in this box so that I can come back to being, you know, but that's just being real. Like, so I can come back to, you know, okay, I know all these roles, and I don't think, you know, I'm not trying to say that, you know, African American men, Black men have it harder than any group. I'm not trying to say it. I'll let somebody else say it for me. But managing stress, you know, succeeding or excelling in your profession, being a father, being a brother, being a friend, all these different hats that we have to wear carry with them their own separate strains of stress. And so if we don't manage them correctly, like David saying, like we first up in line for that stress, heart attacks, high blood pressure, all of those ills that result from not being able to manage those relationships properly. Like if we don't get that in line, you know, it's a wrap. You know, I heard somebody was saying like the coronavirus is not killing. It's like you know, all of the other health issues or whatever, you know, combined with that's really taking people out. So, you know, for me, I know I want to be around for a while. I want to, you know, see my boys grow up and see grandchildren and all of that. So I have to learn and get better with just visiting my nothing box. That's going to be my accountability challenge. I'm going to say during this whole quarantine, that's going to be my accountability challenge for myself.
But are you going to be able to come out your nothing box and in a better place, or explain to the housewife?
Yeah, because I always do. I always do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, once I get there and I'm able to spend adequate time there, I think that's probably the other key.
So you're using the nothing box not as isolation, but as solitude, just to think.
Yes. And that's a de-stressor.
Yeah. I mean, we can all go to nothing box and just be in isolation mode.
Yeah, just be chilling, like whatever. I just don't want to be bothered. But no.
As a tool. I'm going to go to this box, and this space is going to provide the environment that I can do my best thinking in.
Yeah, I can reset. Yeah. I can reset there and come back.
Okay. Sheesh, I was going in, bro. And that's why I make fun of y'all sometimes, because I already know y'all got a lot on y'all plate. I really do. I already know Big Tree. I already know you got a shit ton of stuff. You going, David, I already know. But that's also why I get hyped, because I'm like, all right, look, I got to get work to do, because I have no excuse.
Not yet. Yeah.
It's not even about excuse. I'm going to say I don't have the distractions of much stacked on pieces of adversity. Mm-hmm. Like, Patton, you have 15 pieces of adversity. You have 15 kids. Each one requires attention, time, affection, appreciation, compliments, commitment, communication, gifts, your presence, all of that. Times 15, that's crazy. Right, Dave?
Can I tell you something, Devin?
Yes, sir. She about to
I know something that you don't know. I don't know Tim as well as you, but I know something that you don't know about when Tim laughs when you tell him he has somewhere between 11 and 17 kids. You know what I know?
You know me the best, because Dave, you fucked me up last week, and at our we had a conversation in a group. Remember we did our little group joint we did last? Yeah. You said something. I was just like, you said Devin makes you feel like you could do better or something. I was like, damn. You remember you said that to Roxanne?
I said you're the kind of person that if for some reason you're actually, I can't remember. It was
but it messed my mind up for a long time. And I'm like, Dad,
if you're upset with something, if you're upset with somebody, especially at the school, they're going to be wondering what they did wrong. Like that's the persona that you give off. But what I was gonna say is that with Tim, I don't know him as well as you do, Devin, but I know some of what's behind that laugh every time you tell him he has so many kids. He knows that you're going to find a wonderful woman and you're going to get married and you're going to have kids. And he's just excited.
No, not.
He is excited for when this whole situation down here starts getting all messed up.
Will turn.
Yeah, it's going to. I mean, I understand it. I know part of that laugh, Devin.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand, this is like it's a circle. It's a circle. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, get them all in while you can. Now. That's all I'm going to do.
Oh, look at me. Keep crying now. Look at me moving around.
Oh, yeah. When your turn come, Uncle Tim going to be right there.
That's funny. Okay. Well, I don't know this. I can't speak on that. All I am going to say is God knows the desires of my heart. He knows that I want a wife. He knows that I am a single leader. Therefore, as a single leader, the thing that tears me up the most, and we're in, is the fact that right now, I would like to share my thoughts with people or with my girl or my spouse after I have a long day. I think that's important for me. So that's my biggest struggle. I do want kids, maybe one, maybe two, who knows? I don't know. So that's why I'm not going to negate or neglect what you just said with that information you just shared. So we'll see. But accountability, accountability, instant grace. What else? Sacrifice, trust, discipline. What else? I don't know.
Hit everything. We hit everything. You fried, yeah.
Yeah, man. I know, man. We have long days, man. And it's hard as black men. I think we can say that. But it's hard for a lot of people. Everybody shares their qualms, and their struggles. But we already know everything you said, Patton, is 100% right. This isn't a victimizing or shaming podcast, nor is it the platform to do it now. This is us acknowledging the fact that we know that it's out there, so we trying to do something to fuck about it. That's it. Yeah. So, like I said, this call, I think we all needed it. I know I was tired, and I was like, man, fuck this thing. I'm sorry for cussing so much, but that's just where I was at. Man, like, I'm tired. I got work to do. And I was like, I think this could be a nice avenue, a nice thing for me to get some stuff off my chest. I know Dave be having 30-hour days, and already know Patton got 20. So it was just like, let's just come here real quick and take a break. Yeah, that's a lot. So it was just like, let's just come here and take a break. So everybody, we're going to conclude this. Actually, we might just have to do a segment. We might just have to do a segment weekly.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we'll talk about it, and we'll share some of the men's emotionals with everybody, and also get some other perspectives and do some research, because this stuff can go on forever. So please share this. Please go on not Instagrams.com. Please go on to Podbean and vote. Go to iTunes and vote. That bumps up the ranking some. Shout out to our listener in Argentina, the consistent one. We've had listeners in Sweden, other places, but somebody locked in down there. So we just wanted to say thank you from another continent. That's kind of amazing to think about. We all have different projects we got going on. Stay safe during this COVID stuff. Did I miss anything, Patton or Dave, or no?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right, guys. Well, look, we about to be out. This may conclude our little anniversary series that we did. And it's funny, we spent the most time on things that we might need to work on still. Mm-hmm. We got our routines, but this is something that's really important because it's so deep. The whole L word, it's just not always about romantic. It's always about self. It's also about how you transfer that. And see you about going again.
Levels. There's levels.
It's an endless amount of them. Mm-hmm. Endless amount of them. So let's not run from it. Let's utilize this for our own self-being, and let's be that reflection so that we can go out there and people can see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody stay safe during this COVID time. Thank you, Dave. I know you made some time. I know you probably got another meeting to go to. Shout out to Mel holding it down. I know Jen is up there with the kids, Patton. Shout out to Patton. It's hard, but we're going to get through this and we're going to make moves. I even feel better today. So everybody stay safe, make moves, move markets, believe bigger, faster, and God bless the work. I did good. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
good job, bro.
I will see y'all later. And I'm going to post the Love Language Part 1 tonight. So make sure y'all spread that. Go on Facebook, Instagram. Tell your friends, because I've had a lot of feedback saying they can't wait to hear it. And that makes us feel pretty good. So everybody, I'm going to stop recording. Stay safe. Love everybody. Stay safe, guys. Peace.
Peace.